Okay, so now that we have the face working, one thing I do want to mention is that if we had animation back in Rococo that was connected to this particular clip that had animation on the face rig, so something that had facial animation, then back here in Unreal, this would have that body animation. So what happens is when you connect it through Rococo Live Link, and if the AR kit face subject is set, then the body will come over. However, if you do not have that set, then something a little weird happens. So for example, let me just show you this over here. Let me pop back to Rococo. And if I pop back into a different clip, this one right here, that has this animation but no face, and I go back to Unreal, you'll see that, in this particular instance, it's still working, but the face isn't coming over. So because I have the facial rig connected to this segment, it's actually still connecting over here. But if for some reason I did not have something with a face in it, it wouldn't actually come over. So let me save this and I'll show you what I mean. So if I pop back into Rococo and I go into my projects and I pick one, not this one because I know that one is that one has facial capture connected to that particular character. But if I grab this one, and this one is named David, okay? So if I go in and I select this clip and then I again activate the live link and I play this and I pop back into Unreal, you'll see that it is broken. It's not working. This face is frozen because that was the last expression that I had. But what I need to do is I need to go into this particular character and change some blueprint stuff. So if I pop up to the blueprint here and I select the body pose, you'll notice right here it says Dave G. What I need to do is change that to David and then apply and compile and save, and you'll see that it connects, right? But if I pop back over here, you'll notice this stuff is not working. And that's because right now this is set to the Dave G face. But if I were to try to change this to the David body, you'll see that it is now connected. So ultimately, what's happening here is as this is getting set up, if I do not have facial animation on the character that I have, you'll notice that it says face or body. So if I don't have face for David. I only have face for Dave G. And in fact, I'm going to trash this and I'll show you this one more time. So I go in here to Studio. You'll see that the body is just there, right? So where I'm trying to get here is that you have to make sure that the connection you have is set up in here in this AR face kit. It has to be to the correct one. But if you don't have face, you might be thinking, oh shoot, my face kit's not working. In this instance, I can go to body and it will function, it'll work. But if all else fails, if none of this is working, you're like, what the heck is going on? This isn't functioning correctly. What you can do is this. You can turn this off. And then if I go in and it is still working, hold on, let me turn that off as well. This actually shouldn't be doing it. There you go. It should have stopped when I took that off of there, but it was still, for some reason, still connected. But what's going on here is if I go into the root, the body here, and if this anim class is set to the correct retarget base skeleton here, which is this blueprint, and you see that's working, if I pop back over here, I can simply simulate and it will work. So you'll be looking at this, you're like, well, there's so many different ways to do this. But basically all this is saying is that if you don't have a face subject or you're not using the AR face kit coming out of Rococo, or if your character doesn't have facial animation on it and it's not working in this particular instance, the blueprint is still functioning correctly and you can see it right here and it works. So you just have to go back in to the body, make sure that anim class is set, and you simply simulate it and it will function. And then you're good to go. So that will all come through and work correctly. The other thing that I want to mention here is you notice the arms are looking a little funky. So what you can do is you can come into the right here and you'll see that this has something called shoulder space. And if you type in, let's compile that. What should happen, so you'll see the arm spaces moving out, and you can kind of configure this. Oh, that went in. -2. There you go. So that's looking a little bit better. So you can come in and change the shoulder space and then the arm space so that it looks a little bit more accurate. So I think actually -4 maybe. And that looks pretty good. We'll save that, pop back over here. And now that looks actually pretty decent for this character. And there he is. So now I have that in place, and I might be like trying to get this to do something in Unreal. So what I can do is I can come up to my what's called my take recorder. So let me go up to Window. We're going to go to Virtual Production, and we're going to come down to my Cinematics. I'm getting those confused all the time. So I'm going to go to Cinematics and Take Recorder. And now what I can do is I can simply use this, and let me just close this down. I can use this take recorder. I can load up Erno into my take recorder, and I can literally say, okay, this is the animation that I want to capture. Click record. It'll count down to 0. Boom. Erno's scene is being recorded. It's recording this. That's plenty. Let me stop it. And now I can open up my folder. There's the take that I just made. Double click it. There it is. And what you should see in here, and sometimes you'll see some funky stuff. That's okay. That's just Unreal and MetaHuman. So here's my MetaHuman or my Erno. I'm going to move my other MetaHuman that's linked over. And now if I play this, you'll see my Erno character has that animation. I can double click on this. You're going to see that when I go into the double-clicked layer, that's going to take us into this into that particular breakdown of all those different animated elements. And if you click on that and you see this little lock icon locked, that just means that the animation is uneditable. So if you want to change this in any way, you could, for example, right-click on the body and do Bake to Control Rig and do MetaHuman Control Rig and then create. Very similar to what we did with the other example. And then that will create a full MetaHuman rig that is adjustable. And then remember, we can always click on the MetaHuman Control Rig here and do an additive. And then if we scroll through here, jump on this guy, and let's say we wanted to turn his head, let's say, so that he's looking a little bit. And you know what? This is a little bit tricky on this guy. So the head might... Goodness sakes. Head's a little bit tricky on this one. Because there's a face control and a couple other controls here. But let me see if I can grab something that will do it for me. There you go. For like example for the arm. So the arm on this guy now will have that additive animation, so it'll be pushed out a little bit. And remember, I could always go into and like I don't have the FK controls or the IK controls turned on this guy, so it'll look a little weird if I start to screw with those. I will admit the MetaHuman animation does get a little bit wonky, but there you go. So you can kind of see that's doing it. But again, as we're kind of going through this process, you'll notice that some of the stuff, again, is slight tweaks, right? Because you're getting the animation in here. You're not really trying to reanimate the entire thing. You're just trying to get some of the small tweaks made that you may need. And then the hair is broken there and all that lovely stuff. But if you just do small little tweaks, it should be okay. Save and restart, and that should pop back, actually. So, again, just those little things with Unreal. There you go, and the hair is good. So Check it out as we go through. We'll have more time to kind of look at this and use it. But again, two of the main things: getting animation from Rococo to your metahumans just to get the animation in. And then the face is the big one, because once you start to build that face in for expressions and all that good stuff, it really starts to take on a whole nother realm. All right, excellent. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stop this, and we are good with our demos.